I feel like I'm at the kids' table, man. Carlos, can I get a booster? Y'all playing me, son. Carlos, booster. Making Bartholomew look small. He's 6 feet 12 inches, man. You gonna sit me next to the 6 feet 12 inches guy? Now it's take your kid to work day. He even makes D-Wood look small, and D-Wood was big when he was small. Who else is up this morning? Jay Williams is here with us. All right, we will get to all the basketball, but we begin in the NFL, where another quarterback domino has fallen. Russell Wilson is now a New York Giant, agreeing to a one-year deal worth up to $21 million, with $10.5 million guaranteed. He heads to the NFC East as a projected starter, at least for now, joining a quarterback room that includes Jameis Winston and Tommy DeVito. Wilson, a Super Bowl champion, wasted no time expressing his enthusiasm, posting last night, asterisk, been here before, can't wait to do it again. Asterisk, and indeed, Wilson has been here before. His Super Bowl moment came at MetLife Stadium, where he delivered a dominant performance, throwing for 206 yards and 2 touchdowns as the Seattle Seahawks crushed the Denver Broncos 43-8 in Super Bowl 48. That was a decade ago, an era that feels like a lifetime in the NFL. Now, in an entirely different stage of his career, Wilson returns to the same venue, but this time under vastly different circumstances. There's a lot to dive into, and I'm commercial-free for 20 minutes. People, so put your feet up. D-Wood, I'm looking right at you. What do you make of this move? Well, it gives them a professional quarterback, which is something they desperately lacked last season. Woodson explains. The biggest thing for me is that Wilson brings stability. He can run the offense. But this doesn't necessarily mean the Giants won't draft a quarterback, whether that's at number 3 or somewhere else. They were in a tough position, almost no win. They needed a veteran presence, and now they've got Wilson. They've got Jameis Winston, and they could still add another guy via the draft. Bartholomew, you host a local show in New York. No one's more plugged in than you. What's your reaction? Stevie Wonder saw this coming. He quips, "We knew Aaron Rodgers was probably heading to Pittsburgh, so the Giants had to make a move. A veteran quarterback allows you to properly evaluate your roster. How good are your receivers? Your running backs? How well does your offensive line adjust the protections? Wilson will put the ball where it needs to be. And crucially, this move gives the Giants flexibility in the draft. They can take the best player available and push the quarterback decision down the road. Look, let's be real. The elephant in the room is Arch Manning. He might be available next year, and the Giants could be positioning themselves for that. But even if they aren't, this class has generational talents at the top. Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter. Guys you don't pass on. So while Wilson provides short-term competence, the Giants are still very much in a long-term rebuild. And let's stay on that for a second. What does this move mean right now for Giants? Well, I was in the building last season, calling some Giants games. Another analyst chimes in. At various points, they trotted out Tommy DeVito, Tim Boyle, Drew Lock. Giants fans are waking up today thinking, asterisk, we got Russ? What the hell is this? Asterisk, but look, what were the alternatives? The Giants inquired about Matthew Stafford early in the offseason. That didn't materialize. There were no better options than Wilson. They even brought in Joe Flacco. So at least now, Brian Daboll has competent quarterbacks who can actually run an offense. And let's be clear, 2 things can be true at once. 1, this is not an inspiring move. No one is suddenly expecting the Giants to contend. But 2, this was their best available option. You want Mahomes? Not available. Joe Burrow? Not on the table. This was as good as it was going to get. And in fact, it's exactly what I said they should do. Sign Wilson as a bridge, then draft a quarterback. Now, you don't have to take a QB at number 3. You can trade into the back end of the first round and grab someone like Tyler Shaw from Louisville, who I think has a ton of potential. So let's talk about that number 3 pick. Does Wilson's signing change the Giants' draft strategy? Adam Schefter weighed in on this before the news even broke. Even if Wilson lands in New York, he said, I still believe the Giants could take Shedeur Sanders at number 3. Their quarterback struggles are well documented. They need a long-term solution. And if they believe Sanders is that guy, Wilson's presence shouldn't change anything. Bartholomew. Should the Giants take Sanders at number 3? Not if Abdul Carter is there. He responds without hesitation. He's a generational pass rusher. Look at what the Giants did with Kayvon Thibodeau. Good player, not a great player. Now he's coming up for a new contract. You want to pay Brian Burns $28 million a year on the other side? Or do you want to reset the market with a young, elite edge rusher? And then there's Travis Hunter. He's a two-way phenom, cornerback, wide receiver, playmaker. The Giants need help at both positions. You don't pass on talent like that. But let's say they do want Sanders. Is he even available at number 3? Well, Cam Ward is going number 1, whether it's Tennessee or someone else trading up. That means the Giants are guaranteed to have either Hunter or Carter on the board. But what if Cleveland surprises everyone at number 2? What if they take Sanders? Then the Giants' decision is made for them. And let's be real, this Giants team isn't winning many games next year. Their projected win total is 3.5. That's historically low for a 17-game season. If they go 4-13, they exceed expectations. This is the problem. Another analyst jumps in. It's competing agendas. The front office wants to build for the future, maybe target Arch Manning next year. But ownership is saying, win now or you're fired. That's why we see these short-term moves. But in the grand scheme, the Giants should be prioritizing long-term talent. If you believe in Sanders, you take him, period. If not, you grab Carter or Hunter and address QB next year. Either way, the Giants are still a long way from competing. Look, I think they've done this right. My unsolicited advice last week? Sign Wilson. Make him a bridge QB. Then trade into the back end of the first round and take Tyler Shaw. That plan is now in motion. We got much more on the NFL coming up, but for now, we pivot to last night's big return in the NBA